Sources telling Fox Peter Strzok was told of a possible breach into Hillary Clinton's private email server, but he didn't follow it up. You'll remember Strzok was the special FBI agent that was fired from the Mueller investigation after his extreme anti-Trump bias was revealed. Joining me now to discuss is Chris Stewart. He's a Republican congressman from Utah and a member of the House Intel Committee, which is the focus of so much of what's going on here. Congressman, Peter Strzok was not just anybody, I mean, in the FBI. He was the right-hand man of James Comey when he was director of the FBI, and of course he was the lead FBI investigator for Mueller. Now, to Mueller's credit, he fired him after all those texts were found where he revealed his hatred, pure hatred for Donald Trump before and after he became president. He was not alone. There was a whole team of anti-Trump people in there. Is that what you're investigating and worried about?
Well, it's one of the things that is curious to me. I mean, look, the FBI is a center to center right and generally apolitical entity. How in the world is it that Mr. Comey surrounded himself with such very aggressive, progressive, really in some cases just political hacks? I mean, that wasn't just by coincidence, or it didn't just happen. Very clearly, these individuals were selected and moved into these positions. Mr. Strzok is a good example of that. But let's go back to the big picture, too, the things we know. And this seems so long ago, I know. I mean, my gosh, so many scandals, so little time. But Hillary Clinton had an email that we know was unsecure. She shouldn't have had it. It was secret. We know that there was classified information on there, in some cases very, very secretive, top secret and above, and we were always afraid that it was vulnerable to hacking. And now we found out that there was evidence of that, and yet it's like the FBI didn't want to know the answer to the question. Why initiate an investigation if you don't want to know the answer? And it seems like that's what happened here.
Well, this group, which included Peter Strzok, Bruce and his wife Nellie Ohr. Nellie, of course, worked for Fusion that came up with the Trump dossier. Bruce was a high-up figure at the Department of Justice. And then you have Andrew McCabe. And apparently, Andrew McCabe, who was assistant at the FBI, he is featured in the Inspector General's report that is due out this month or next month. We've been hearing that there may be some blockbusters in that report about Mr. McCabe. Have you been hearing the same?
Well, I mean, we hear some things, but, I want to be careful on that. Let's wait and see what the Inspector General has to say, but I'll tell you this as well. We don't need the Inspector General to tell us some of the things that we know and that we will eventually share with the American people. And I got to come back to this original proposition. How is it that Director Comey and the Department of Justice selected and promoted these individuals who were clearly so partisan, so actively partisan, and so open about their partisanship? I mean, it casts a pale upon the entire department, upon the entire FBI, for leadership like that to be so aggressive in their politics.